Hello everyone, welcome to this session. I want to start with a self-assessment. So I have run a poll, so please answer. I want you to reflect and think, how strong are you when it comes to innovation? Let's use a scale from 0 to 5, where we say 0, very weak. Innovation is not in my DNA, and you are this kind of person that when you hear brainstorming, think outside of the box, you get nervous or you want just to disappear, run away. Let's say 1 is weak. I have an idea what innovation is, but I'm not innovating. 2 will be a little bit, I know some tools to come up with ideas, but I don't know how to implement and create innovation. 3 will be moderate. I use innovation in some stages of the innovation process. For example, I explore, I generate ideas. Sometimes I improve or create products, process, or services. 4 will be strong. I have produced something that could be considered innovative. Maybe sometimes I have failed, but I was able to experiment again and try it. 5 will be very strong. Innovation is a component of your everyday work. So a little bit about me. Paula, I'm based in Munich, but I was born in Colombia. I have lived in several different countries and almost half of my life in Germany. So my background is I'm a process engineer. I start in innovation at the end of my studies when I worked in R&D in biotechnology. I was in charge of scaling a process to produce biopesticides using crystals that bacteria produce. Then I moved to Germany, also continue researching. This time I was involved in new materials. My focus was biodegradable polymers, and then I pursued a master, stayed a long time in Germany. And after the master, I started working in operation. My role was to improve the production, introduce new products, and also new technologies. And then I transitioned to product development and innovation management until a friend invited me to join him as a co-founder of a biotech startup. So that's when I started learning design thinking, lean startup methodology. I also became a Scrum Master. And when I was looking for the intersection between design thinking and Scrum, I discovered Life Innovation Lab, which is a nonprofit organization based in Munich. And then we have the mission to democratize innovation, make it accessible for all, also bridge the innovation gaps between different fields and the woman gap. So that is what I have been doing the last 2 years. And what I'm going to share here in this presentation is the methodology that we developed in order to become a better innovator. So in this presentation, I'm going to go a little bit about the origins of innovation, what type of innovation, but as I say, I'm going to focus more in the innovator's mindset and the role of the technology. So where does innovations come from? It sounds like a philosophical question, but actually it's very simple. The answer is an historical one. Where would be the standard today if it wasn't for innovation like wheel, fire, and electricity? If we think about communication technologies, medicine, even democracy, we humans have always innovated. What changed was the scope of innovation during the history. So the war, especially the digital war that where we are living right now, is a result of a countless innovation. So the origins of innovation lie in the big and the small things of everyday life, these things that we want to improve or adapt to our changing needs and wishes. Also, our resources are finite, so we are forced to develop new solutions. Another thing that is very important is our human imagination. That propels us to strive for radical new technologies. We also are always asking questions how we can do something in this way, in a different way. So we need to find the knowledge. And doing that, we will inevitably encounter problems and confronted with some limited and constraints that what is currently possible. So the starting point is the emergence of innovation, is desire for change and progress, but overcoming all the obstacles and shifting boundaries. So innovation transforms history, comes from identifying problems, from passion, and it's really important preserving. So we can see here a graphic, and what I want you is first to get rid of a misconception that innovation is an aha moment, it's an eureka moment, and happen for magic. No, innovation is a process. It's actually a long, continuous learning process with several inputs. It's not linear. It's not sequential. We might iterate many times. We need to interact and feedback. So we start exploring. As I say, it's very important to observe and empathize with the consumer, users, or beneficiaries if you are involved in social innovation. We need to connect with other people, not only the beneficiaries. We are going to get inspired from ideas from others. It's also important collaboration. We are going to work in teams. We need to experiment, to test, and to validate many assumptions. And sometimes we have to question again and go back, but the important thing is a learning process. And another thing that is important is that in our economy and in life, there are many uncertainties. And actually what only is certainty is that change will happen, and that happen fast. And that is why we need to adapt. And we also try to reduce the risk. The best way is when we empathize, but anyways, it could come that we won't failure and we have to iterate. So another important point here is that every person has an individual set of knowledge, characteristics. We have skills and valuable experience that help us in many situations in our lives, professional and also personally. So every human being has the potential to become a catalyst for innovation and to participate in the implementation. We are going to come further on that when we talk about the innovation model, but now I would like to move to the different types of innovation, because I think that also makes some confusion. So when we look about innovation, there are some common ways to look at it. One is the innovation matrix, where this classify according both technology and the uses of technology and in the market that it operates. So when we will have 4 different types of innovation. Incremental innovation, which is the most common, and every company is involved in that in one way or another, is when we implement an existing technology, but we try to increase the value to the customer. It could be we do some design changes, we add some new features. We also can simplify. That also will have a small value in the customer experience. Then we come to the disruptive innovation. It's a term that was popularized by Clayton Christensen. Is when we refer to an innovation that creates new value network. It can be achieved either when you create a new market or you enter an existing one and change how the consumers interact with that. So we all have here about Netflix disrupting Blockbuster, also how the digital camera and Instagram, the disruption of Kodak. And then we will come to architectural innovation, which is simply taking the lessons, the skills, and the overall technology and apply it in a different market. We will see that this sometimes is a lower risk involved because we already relied in on a proven technology and we just reintroduce it in another field, but it requires tweaking and matching the requirements of the new market. And radical innovation is what most people think when they hear innovation. Gives the birth of new industries, involves creating revolutionary technologies as computer, internet. So another thing that's important in innovation is how we management, and it's also another, what we see in the second graphic is called the 3 horizons of growth. Is if you want to live well, further, you can read reports of McKinsey, but the idea of this is that we have 3 different horizons where companies should focus, not only in one. The number 1 is actually the core business, where they provide the greatest profits and cash flow. They are focusing on improving performance, maximizing the value, and encompass emergency opportunities. But then when we see the horizons number 2 is new opportunities, new rising entrepreneurial ventures generate profits, but that will be in the future. And then we have the third one, where it's like really thinking in the future and creating better options. So what is here is important is how you manage the portfolio. And as I say, that companies should work simultaneously in the 3 horizons. Then we will see another, which is called the innovation ambition. It's a further development from the 3 horizontal. And here is more like the strategy management of innovation. You will see that it's also in 2 dimensions, but you don't have a binary. You will have also a series of values, and you will have 3 kinds of innovation: core, adjacent, and transformational. And here is like, as I say, the strategy, because you define in which market you are going to play and how you're going to win there. So if you are going to use the existing products, are you going to do some incremental products and assets, or are you going to develop new things? But what I really like is a more holistic overview of different types of innovation. There's a framework called the 10 types of innovation, and it was developed by Larry Quill, and after examining over 2,000 business innovations from the history, they uncovered that most of the breakouts are necessarily stem from engineering innovation or discoveries. Actually, you will see that they categorize in 10 different dimensions. And if you go from it's in color, so the red color is configuration, that will be more inside a company. And then you will move more in the direction of the customer, where you can, with your offering, you can have product systems. Then you will have also product performance. One example is Spotify. Then you move to more to, as I say, to the consumer experience. So you can work in your service, in your channel, in your brand, and Innovator, and also customer engagement. You will see like service like Amazon Prime, how it's always offering more and also updating and trying, and every day they try to improve the user experience. In channels like Nespresso with the coffee capsule, where there is a club. In brands, like what you want that your consumers feel, like Patagonia, more the sustainability in fashion. And customer engagement, you can see the automotive industry, Mercedes and BMW using the different apps. So we have talked about innovation management strategy, but what is about the practice? We will see that there are many methodologies, frameworks, and that brings a lot of confusion when you try to think about what is my perfect model that will foster innovation within my company. So you will see different methodologies, as I say. Why? Because in every field, we are trying to de-risk and reduce the uncertainty. So they have evolved different methodologies. It's sometimes difficult to see, okay, where is this limit, because there are many overlaps. They use sometimes very similar tools. So I like graphic. When you think about innovation and business innovation, you will always think about this intersection between desirability, viability, feasibility, and of course, adoption. So you also think about what is the problem, the solution, and for innovation, you have to bring it to the market. So there is also important to develop a business model. You have also to validate that, and that is when all methodologies come soon. So at the beginning, you can see in this graph, it's very useful to use design thinking in order to really understand what is the need. But then you will come to a part where you already define your problem, also come to the solution, and then is where you can start using agile methodologies or lean startup. Is when you start thinking about your different prototype, what is your product, your minimum viable product. But as I say, like in most innovation, the exception is incremental innovation, you will need a new business model. So you also have to be there and discover, try, iterate. So this is a really useful methodology. It was developed by Natalia Fur and Jeff model, and they see it as an end-to-end process to bring innovation. So now it's come to the question, how we become innovators, because we have talked about innovation management, innovation strategy, practice, but we are the ones who are gonna actually implement all of this innovation. So I wanted to introduce you a methodology that we developed at Life Innovation Lab. We have different backgrounds, starting from marketing, business, communication, learning experience, and engineer. And we have worked in different countries, regions, and industries. And we have come to the same conclusions, that there are skills that foster innovation, and these skills that are innate and we can further develop. So we wanted to create a methodology that brings into the focus the core issues of an innovator, such as limited resources, unpredictability, continuous changing context. So we explore the theory of fun and the importance of incorporating play in our daily life to fuel imagination, creativity, problem-solving abilities, cross-collaboration, emotional well-being, which we know that these are essential elements driving innovation. So why we decided to use play as a tool for innovation? Well, it's because we know that the most effective way to learn is learning by doing, but actually when we were children, we learn more and faster. And during our first years, we all learn through play. We learn and grow, exploring and creating. So there are also studies that show us, for example, a recent study in Spain show using bracelet in students for 1 week, how the brain response is when they are in class, and also the whole day. And at some point, you will have the same responses in a classroom than in watching television. So for learning, you also need fun and you need to engage. And chemically, there are many reasons, also chemical and biological reasons why play makes you feel better and connect our both brain hemispheres. Researchers have found that play helps produce more powerful feel-good hormones such as endorphin, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. And some of them help you learn because they increase your attention. For example, dopamine enhances the cognitive ability and improves the ability to learn and pay attention. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that impacts your mood, memory, and learning. So for this talk, I'm going to explain the innovator mindset that we can train using play innovation. We exploring this concept with components, people, ideas, and things, and we combine it with key innate human traits that help us to drive innovation. So normally a play innovation session takes 2 hours where we help people identify the components of the innovator mindset within them. But due to the format of this talk, I'm going only to explain the mindset that we identify and train and give you some tips and tools to training your skills. But we will also, you can also join us in a Play Innovation session. The next one is going to be virtually in July. So you can register. It's free, but we have the space limited. So let's come to our model. So when we think about innovation, there are many definitions, but the one that we use is innovation is finding the non-evident connection between people, ideas, things, and things to generate a greater value. So I would like to give you an example of this. So I don't know, maybe some of you already know that. This example is the origin of the Internet of Things when Kevin Ashton was working for the cosmetics division of Procter & Gamble. They had problems keeping the products on the shelf, although it was enough product in the warehouse. So he was looking for the cause of this problem, and he realized that the problem was an information problem because they didn't know the individual product level. In this case, was the lipsticks in the shelf of the store. So he thought about and how to solve it, and he came to the idea to use radio frequency identification using microchips, and using the internet you could also connect and see when a product was run out in the store, you will get a signal and you know you can go to the warehouse and put more. So he proposed that to the leadership team of Procter & Gamble and just give it the name Internet of Things. And they start working on that and work with MIT. And it took some years to develop the technology as we know today with many applications. So what I also want you to think about is that we all, you know, that we have talked about many methodologies, but at the end, what is really important is the mindset, because the mindset affects how you see things in the world. It can be that one person sees a situation as a problem, another person sees it as an opportunity, and our mindset is what brings us to react and to move. So mindset is everything. So remember the self-assessment that we did at the beginning. I would like you to reconsider your answer at the end of the talk. And I'm gonna start explaining you the mindset. So when we think about people, we identify two very important mindsets. One is open-minded listener, which is a person that is actively willing to consider different ideas, opinions, is not judgmental, is receptive and reflective, and also empathetic. Playmate is very important to develop the human connection, understanding the emotions, the different points of view, the needs, and the context of others. Why? Because we are creating things for humans, and at the same time, we work with other people. We collaborate, so it's really needed. So how you can train that? So one very simple thing is start observing people. So try to intuit what they are feeling and thinking. You can observe people for 10 minutes during your commute. If you are not commuting, you can do it at the supermarket or when you go for a walk. Pay attention to everything. It's not just listening. For example, when you go to a new country and you are not fluent in this language or you don't know it, you pay more attention to the other, not only the language, you know, not the communications and then other things, how the people behave, move. You try to intuit what they are thinking. Also, it's like in design thinking, we say like, is listening also with your eyes and other senses. You pay attention to everything, colors, smells, sounds, and things. So that will help you. For listening, you can do a simple exercise at home or with your colleagues. Try only to listen, don't talk. And I guarantee that will improve also the communication and youth relation. Try it for once, just to hear what the people is saying. Try not to give opinion, just us and try to confirm if you are understanding how they feel. So when we move to ideas, it's really important to be curious learner. You know that curiosity is very important in innovation, and we need to learn. So if this person is someone that is eager to acquire knowledge and skills, they also have a deep desire to explore, experiment, and engage. And if you want to start trying to be more curious and learn more, there are many things. I think before we say like knowledge, what's reading is also true. We can keep reading. What I like is, for example, Fast Company, because they send newsletter with about different industries. So you get also to know other fields that is not your working field, and they give you interesting ideas and stories of new things that are emerging. Also, we have a lot of resources that are free. For example, Harvard Business Review, The Economist, Medium, you all have access between 2 and 3 articles per month. You can attend meetups. There are right now many that are virtually, so use this moment to explore other meetups in other countries, in other cities, also other fields. We use also this virtuality to explore some museums. It might be that we continue with some virtual, and I think we're gonna have a great system, but you can also watch recordings. If you want to get news, interesting news, something that is emerging, I recommend you the Hacker News of Y Combinator. And there is a really incredible website called the Board of Innovation. They have really great blogs, articles in the blog, and tools and templates that are a lot for free. So just go there and try to explore new tools and use it. And there is also the possibility to, right now we can hear a lot of podcasts for free. So IDEO has a really good podcast. Stanford has the eCorner. Harvard Business Review has the eCast. So I also like to hear interviews and see the story of the people. You can also rediscover your city and see and think always, how can you turn each moment into a learning opportunity? One way is thinking and questioning. You have to ask a lot of questions in order to learn. So connection builder is when you are able to identify relationships among things that are unrelated as objects and ideas, and that helps you to overcome ideation roadblocks and identify different opportunities. So again, is how you can build connections. Try to use association. Could be random words, something that has nothing to do with your challenge. Think you can use also random association, looking at Wikipedia for potential association. What I also like is using analogies. One example that helped me was when I was designing an app for the immigrants in Germany, that they understand the complexity of the school system, where in 4th grade they decided between 3 different schools, and only in one school you can go directly to the university. So that created really anxiety in the parents. And I was thinking in analogies, but think this analogy with an experience. So for example, for me was something that is unknown, but even this unknown, I have a good experience. So I thought about vacation and what was the things that gave me this good experience, like which information I received when I received it, if it was that someone picked me at the airport, the information, the hotel, and all these kinds. And I transferred that to my prototype. Also, I thought about things that I don't know and produced the same feeling. For example, going for a diagnosis at a medical center where you don't know how it's going to be. It's your first time there, but when you immerse in yourself in this experience, you realize, okay, how the reception is, how the information is delivered, and then you are getting out of this anxiety. So again, that helped me to transfer some ideas to this prototype. And what I also recommend in innovation is that you have an idea inventory. You can use it digital or classical way of writing. For example, for me, I'm more like a mix of my own Pinterest with pictures. I also made some sketches, notes, but that helps you also you should also keep track of your learnings. And then we will come to things. And in this mindset, I think that the children are our inspiration. When we think something about fearless doer, is when you have challenge and you have these notions, you are trying to engage in the unexpected, you experiment, you fail, you learn and try again. As I say, as children, where they just try it. And the creative explorer is when you train your own creativity skills by testing maybe some unexplored approaches that empower you creation and build up your confidence. So it's important that you try yourself out and remember that at the beginning, we are not the best. It's like drawing your first draw or writing. Remember how was it and how fast you can improve. But you have to try it also. Another thing that I consider really important is that you reframe what failure is and get more in the scientific models. So when we are working in science, for example, we run many experiments because we have some assumptions and we want to try and validate that, but we are not afraid of having the assumption not validated, because we know, okay, even if it's not true, my assumption that can give me in another direction and I can learn something new. And so that's how you can think in innovation. Every time that you test something, you can measure and then you can reduce your risk and come again and use your learnings. So how you can do that? So try new experience, ask a lot about yourself, and you also need to analyze. I really like the 5 whys. It's similar as children when they ask why when they are 3 years old and they challenge you with conception that you think you know, but they ask so many times why that you also have to think more. And we in engineering use it for failures to measure what happened in safety and all these things. And it's also helping in other fields. And we will come to the innovator, the core of all the mindset. And this is resilient, is able to recover from difficult situation, adapt quickly to changing conditions by finding meaning in adverse experience. Here is important that you don't have to always be like happy if you have a failure. It's like a learning. And I think that in innovation, a lot of things have came through because of frustration, because of sadness, that also can give you the energy to create something new. So it's how you see the things, and even if things that is not in your control, you are able to move forward. Purpose-driven, I think, is a very important thing, the most important, because it's what gives us the energy and this inner drive when we find our passion and we engage. So it's important that you being aware that we all have a unique skill set and experience and background, and we can engage in innovation. So you can see that all these mindsets are growth mindsets and all are interconnected, and mastery starts with new habits that will evolve in capabilities. So it's possible to train your innovator muscle. Consider as your heart, for example, with your body that gives you the oxygen. Your mindset is your fuel, gives you energy and makes possible to bring you in motion in order to be innovative. So it's important to find your inner drive and passion, as I say. And then we are going to move to the next topic. I already explained that. So some other example of innovation is when you think about the cloud and that you have one necessity was like different users. They needed computational power, they needed data storage, but what it makes us more useful was to think in another way, like to think in this multi-tenant and different paying methods, and also offers like ended giving the opportunity to have like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service. And if we think about the cloud and connecting other sectors like the pharmaceutical and medical sector, one recent example of innovation is when we think about Moderna, the pharmaceutical company, and when Corona COVID-19 appeared, they were for some time working with Amazon Cloud, and they were able to connect, and in 1 month after they start analyzing the virus, they were able to take out this virus and start working in a new vaccine. So in less than 3 months, they were able to develop a new technology and start to conduct the clinical trials. What I think it was really new in drug discovery, that you can develop so fast and have it in the market. So that brings us to the importance of technology. So what I also wanted to tell you is, like, for me, the drivers of innovation are mindset, also diversity, and technology. Why technology? Because I see also technology as was one of the best tools to connect people, ideas, and things, to drive innovation. Because when technology is not only a tool, we are right now connecting many fields that they can work together and they come even greater things. So technology is a magnifier of the human intent, but it's very important to apply it with empathy and thoughtfulness so that we can substantially improve our life. When we think also about technology, it has also impacted our life because it has increased and improved the communication and education accessibility. So connection is really important in innovation, where we get ideas, and we right now, through communication, we are most connected with the whole world. Of course, there are some barriers to technology adoption. It will be also the low income or user capabilities, but even though more people are getting access to information, and that is improving their knowledge, despite where they are located in the world and their socioeconomic position. So we have seen that thanks to technology, the whole pandemic time was easier to management because we could, even having homeschooling, we could keep the connectivity, keep working, keep studying, and also we start using more telemedicine and have access to that. So when we also think about the future of technology, we have this called general purpose technology, which are the technologies that have the potential to affect our entire economic system and can lead us to many changes in the society. And we have seen it through the history when the steam engine came, then the railways, telephone, automobile, electricity, then computers, internet, and in the last decade we have seen in some emerging technologies as artificial intelligence, energy storage, robotic genomes, blockchain. They are changing not only one sector, many sectors. As I say, think only about telemedicine or think about blockchain. when you apply it in agriculture, and you can reduce the food waste. So I'm one that I think that innovation can help us to drive a better future for everyone, a sustainable one. And here again, the takeaways that we have. And if you would like to contact us, you can find us in our website, in LinkedIn. You can contact me, or Live Innovation Lab. We also have, we are in Meetup and in Instagram. So feel free to contact us. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.